First of all, submitting resumes without your permission is not something a recruiter should do. At BCG, we actually have a portal, and they have to actually physically approve the resumes and say that they want to be submitted to a firm. But if a recruiter does that, then the best thing to do is just to tell the firm sometimes that the recruiter has nothing to do with your candidacy if you don't want to work with that recruiter for the firm. The problem with doing that is it makes it look like you hired the wrong recruiter and puts the firm in a weird situation. But a lot of times, if you feel like you're a really good fit for the firm, you don't want that recruiter to be your recruiter, then it's fine to tell the firm that the recruiter did this without my authorization. And if you don't want to apply to that firm. If you do want to work at that firm, then that's a different matter. And the other thing is you should also call the recruiter and tell the recruiter you probably don't want to work with that recruiter anymore, because the recruiter may keep doing that. Recruiters are unfortunately salespeople, and that can be an issue. A recruiter shouldn't be submitting your resume without your authorization. It's just plain wrong. The reason is that, first of all, you may have already applied to that firm like in the recent past, or even like within days, online or something. You may have applied through another recruiter, and you're creating conflicts that makes you look bad. You also may have interviewed there in the past and not gotten a job or had a bad experience. You may have friends that work in the firm that you don't want to know you're looking for a job. A partner you work for may have a very close relationship with a partner in another practice group that you know about at the same firm. There's numerous reasons that you wouldn't want that to happen. Finally, there may be a conflict. You may be fighting with that firm every day about something or on the opposite side of a deal, and to suddenly submit an application to them is going to look very strange and is going to undermine you. Also, the recruiter may not even know what they're doing. You may work for a defense employment firm, and they may submit you to a plaintiff's firm sometimes. And so having the ability to review those firms is important. And also, they may try to apply you to a firm that is not just a bad fit for you, and you don't want to have to waste their time and so forth. So it's very important that the firm constantly, that they're aware of where you're being applied to. Well, the first thing is you want to have a good relationship with a recruiter. So you want the recruiter to be able to come to you with ideas and not feel like you're a pain if they give you ideas. If you're very difficult every time the recruiter makes suggestions and does work on your behalf, a recruiter has to go out a lot of times. A good recruiter will go out and they'll talk to firms hypothetically. Would you be interested in someone with this kind of background? And if they bring you back firms and then you take a lot of time to respond and so forth, then they won't do that for you anymore. But you do want to make sure that the recruiter, you tell them that you want to be able to approve every firm. And most of them will say, of course you will, and most recruiters are very ethical. But you want to make sure you tell them that. You also want them to email you the firms or post them online or whatever, and for you to approve. So there should be a written record of the ones you've approved and not approved. If you're submitting your resume to a recruiter through a blind ad, almost never. The recruiter's not going to submit your resume to that firm. But they may have ads out there where that looks like a law firm you're applying to, and that may be, some law firms will say that they're confidential and they'll allow you to apply to them without knowing who they are. That's a bad idea because it could be your own firm. Sometimes if a firm's planning on getting rid of people, or they don't want people to know that they're posting an opening. So the other thing is sometimes unscrupulous recruiters will run phony blind ads to collect resumes of candidates. I knew a recruiter once that wrote an ad. I spoke to him on the phone and he thought it was very funny, but I didn't, where he said that there was a $20,000 starting bonus for anybody that took this job. But he put a blind ad and all these people responded to it. So that wasn't cool. So the idea is just, it's not a good idea to respond to blind ads. If the law firm doesn't want you to know who they are, then that's just kind of weird.